When Bill Gates said, "It's fine to celebrate success, but it is more important to heed the lessons of failure," for many entrepreneurs, it's the perfect description for the legend that is JC Penney. The story of how JC Penney grew from a little-known town in Wyoming to become a household name and a major nationwide shopping retailer reads more like fiction than reality. It contains all the highs of the classic American entrepreneurial spirit and the well-known Greek tragedy tale. The story of JC Penney begins in 1902 when the first store was opened by James Cash Penney in Kemmerer, Wyoming, selling dry goods. While he could have been seen as any other businessman starting in retail, Penney had some revolutionary ideas that quickly entrusted the store to customers and helped lay the foundation for the company's identity. The first of these was the Golden Rule principle, where he sought to emphasize fair prices and honest treatment for all those who walk into the store. This all-inclusive principle would include having fixed prices for goods instead of the haggling culture that was prevalent back then. This was instituted to eliminate customer distrust and confusion. Also, he coined the one-price policy where the same price is offered to every customer, independent of their economic status or bargaining power. This created a feeling of fairness around the store and made customers feel respected and valued. There also was the money-back guarantee that was unheard of at the time. He told customers that if they weren't satisfied with their purchases, they could return it for their money. This was first instituted by Penney and has now been taken to extreme lengths by companies like Nordstrom. All of these ideas and practices devolved into an extremely strong and loyal customer base, which led to a rapid growth curve for the company. By 1913, the company had grown across the West with 34 stores opened. This growth was brought about mainly through franchising and acquisitions. On the back of this expansion, the company moved its headquarters to New York City in 1914 and was incorporated as the JC Penney Company. This move was the first step towards national dominance and expansion. At this phase, the company employed many of the now common features of retail stores. The first was having a standardized layouts, merchandise selection, and pricing plan for every store. This was to help create a uniform and consistent brand in the minds of the customers. The company also pioneered certain concepts like offering cash-only deals and launching private label brands like Big Yank Jeans and Penny's Towels. This helped provide an affordable option for customers as opposed to national brands. All these practices endeared the company to the public during the Depression era and led to it becoming a retail giant in 1929. With over 1,392 stores across the United States, essentially becoming America's new shopping darling. From 1930 onwards, the company evolved in many ways, as a response to both competition and the economic challenges of the time. During the Great Depression era, the company emphasized a strong focus on affordability for its customers. Individual stores also hosted fashion shows, cooking demonstrations, and other events, all to build a sense of community with customers during this period. This period also saw efforts from the company to reach remote areas, with the launch of a mail-order catalog, essentially bringing its offerings to customers beyond store locations. They also introduced credit cards due to changing consumer preferences and expanded their merchandise selection. So what is clear is that JC Penney has had a track record of facing challenges and coming up with creative ways to solve them. But what happened? How did this innovative and beloved company go bankrupt? Well, JC Penney was the go-to family retailer all through the 80s, selling almost anything you could want. By the late 1990s, they had already fallen behind in the pecking order and had lost a large chunk of their customers. Here are a couple of reasons why the company crashed. The most obvious of these reasons is that the company was overrun by intense competition. While the brick-and-mortar store model had worked in the last century, it was obvious that consumers' preferences were shifting towards online shopping. However, JC Penney decided against the e-commerce trend. On the other hand, Walmart embraced this trend and made it a central part of its business model. They developed an exciting online platform that made shopping easy for customers and expanded their customer base. With a focus on getting the customer to have a great experience on the platform, Walmart went the extra mile to adapt to the rapidly changing market demands. But it wasn't just Walmart. There was also Target and Amazon, making it extremely hard for JC Penney to stand out in the customer's mind, apart from being a retail store that is 100 years old. Another reason for the company's demise could be linked to its choice of leadership and its decision-making abilities. On the back of the past recessions and lost market shares, the company decided to appoint Ron Johnson to serve as its CEO. While Johnson had managed retail for Apple and Target in the past, he was a first-time CEO. This relative inexperience became costly in light of his decisions. First, he decided to rebrand JCPenney beginning with its name and logo. JCPenney changed its name to JCP and adopted an elegant Apple-like emblem. He later updated the appearance and atmosphere of JCP shops to draw in younger customers. He also brought in collaboration deals with companies like Sephora to open 100 smaller boutiques instead of JCPenney's well-known store brands. While he was striving to get the company to appeal to younger customers, he unconsciously alienated JCPenney's most committed customers. Historically, lower-middle-class women, mostly mothers looking for great deals on clothing and housewares, and the elderly were the ideal customers. However, because of this pivoted approach, their primary customers stopped considering themselves customers, and the younger customers that the company desperately sought to appeal to didn't prefer the new JCP, since it still had the unfavorable image of being a store visited by the elderly looking for a deal. Lastly, there was the effect of the pandemic. Given that JCPenney has struggled with financial issues for years, including declining sales and mounting debt, these financial issues made it difficult for the company to invest in its stores and compete with other retailers. The coming of the pandemic effectively sealed the company's fate, leading to its decline and eventual bankruptcy. Like many other retailers, JCPenney was hit hard by COVID-19, which temporarily forced JCPenney store closures. This disrupted its supply chain, and given that its competition had cornered the online market, the erstwhile below-normal revenue rapidly shrunk to zero. And the only outcome was for the company to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. At the time of the filing in mid-May 2020, JCPenney had 846 stores and about 85,000 employees. It was a sad story of a company that chose tradition over innovation and expected customers to change their tastes and preferences to shop at its stores. The lesson to learn from JCPenney's bankruptcy story is that all businesses must be adaptable and willing to embrace change to succeed. This is important as staying abreast of consumer trends, investing in idea and innovation management, and making data-driven decisions to provide the best customer experience would invariably add to the bottom line. In an interesting turn of events, it turns out JCPenney paid out millions of dollars to top executives right before filing for bankruptcy, with the then CEO Jill Soltau receiving a $4.5 million bonus. The news led to backlash from the thousands of employees who lost their jobs and the shareholders who lost money in the company. While the company was bought by mall owners Simon Property Group and Brookfield Asset Management, it will be interesting to see if a miracle will bring this century-old brand back to life. We've come to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, leave your thoughts in the comments section and subscribe to our channel. Also, hit the notification bell to get informed when we upload new videos. See you next time.